I'm here this afternoon with Lauren Caldwell. We first met when we did an interview for Heart Gallery about adoptive children, but we've got a different topic today. You just returned from Kenya and from being with the Mattaw Ministries. Let's back up in time. How did you first hear about it? What got you moving that direction? Give us a little background.
Sure. I missed a meeting one time. I was head of our missions committee and missed a meeting and thought I'd better make it up, and I went to another missions meeting here in San Angelo and heard about this village in Kenya where there was an orphanage that there was going to be a construction project and a missions trip to. And I immediately thought, wow, I always knew I would go. I just thought my children would be older, because my two eldest children now that are currently freshmen and sophomore were, I guess, 4 and 6.
So it's been several years.
Yes,
okay.
We've been doing it for about 10 years. And so I went over to this original orphanage and learned a lot and fell in love with the people there, with just the entire culture. Just the Lord just put it right in my heart. And came back and worked with other ministries trying to get the children sponsored there. And through those ministries, Kimberly, who was Kimberly McKinney at the time, was sent over there to help with the children's home in Lamoru, which is the small village I initially had gone to. And she was there for over a year. And we became friends even more so through Yahoo Instant Messenger. This was back in the days before I knew what Facebook was, or I think it's before Facebook was actually launched. And so I would get up really early in the morning and talk to her on her one trip to town, from the village, as she's living in a mud hut a week. And
wow.
Our hearts were just knit. And she had a mutual friend that she had introduced me to, and it was just the same vision, the same heart. And through these other ministries that we were working with, there was a young man that thought he would like to go and play with some kids, and went over, just short of graduating from college, went over and fell in love with not only Kenya, but Kimberly.
Oh.
And my husband had gone with me on subsequent trips, and I'll never forget being on opposite sides of our island, instant messaging with them, because they'd upgraded to a cyber cafe in town at that point. My husband was speaking with Bud, and Kimberly and I were discussing on the other side the proposal and all of these wonderful things, and they're in the same internet cafe. And so the beginnings of Mattaw were knit in the same vision and the same heart, and through relationship before anything else. And just so happened that the time for us to be in Lamoru was really over, because what we finally figured out is we were trying to build on another man's foundation. Our heart was not for an institutional orphanage, but for families. And so Mattaw Children's Village came about. My family and I went over there for about 10 weeks. I mean, like literally, Kim and Bud said, "I do," and they were on a plane. And about 2 weeks later, we joined them and began interviewing house parents, looking for land.
Wow.
We were able to find land. The Lord, lined things up supernaturally, as He does everything else. And Kimberly and Bud remained on and established Mattaw, and have put their blood, sweat, tears, heart, soul, lives, they've been poured out like a drink offering. And not shortly after that, Elisha, their firstborn, joined the team. And not too long after that, Claire joined the team, and recently Ezra has joined the Mattaw family. And going back in time with that, they met the first house parents and built the first home. We'd actually gone to Uganda to look at the Mattaw Children's Home. They're a very famous choir that tours all over the world, and they do it really well. So we didn't see any point in reinventing the wheel. So we went to Uganda to see what they had done, and came back with a lot of their plans and just said, okay, this works, let's do this. And began implementing a lot of their housing strategies. And that included house parents. And house parents came along The Lord just guided them and has brought the most unbelievable people alongside. So each house houses ideally 12 children,
Okay.
which in that culture, that's not really a huge family. That's normal size. And right now we have 5 houses full of, and we're actually overflowing a little bit in some of the houses, because when the Lord says, take that one, we take that one.
Yeah.
And it's not that we've never had to say no. And when I say we, I hear we praise God for technology.
Yes.
We have text conversations, group me, Facebook, email. But the real decisions, the on the ground, the vision, the heart, the power, the work is Kimberly and Bud. They are phenomenal. Every time I go, as you mentioned, I just recently returned, and I am astounded at what the Lord will do with a willing heart, and how they have just followed the Lord and, made some missteps along the way and learned.
Sure.
But they've gone from the young missionaries there to the old guard, and they are very well respected in the entire nation. As a matter of fact, because of just their integrity and their character and who they are, the president of Kenya came to Mattaw last Christmas, maybe 2 years ago. But it was because he had known them when they were back in the small village, when he was not the president of the nation. But his wife had such a strong fondness for Kimberly, because everybody I know that meets her does. And Bud is unbelievable administratively. They have not only have Mattaw Children's Home, where we have our children.
So you've got 60 plus children?
About 100.
Oh, just a little of an overflow there.
Well,
okay.
That also includes what we've begun, and that is a baby home.
I see.
Called Sprouts, and that is for the children that are literally left to die, particularly if they're special needs. And the Lord will somehow highlight them to Kim and Bud, or draw them, and they'll find them. Babies that are abandoned in the hospital. The hospital's on amazing terms with Kimberly and Bud.
Sure.
And they call them, say, hey, can you help? As a matter of fact, Mattaw is now on an oversight board, basically, I don't know a better way to put it, for Kenya, for children's homes.
Wow.
Because they're so exemplary. And
fantastic.
Yeah, this is from 2 kids from West Texas who just said yes.
Amen.
Who just continually say yes. And so we've got a baby's home, Sprouts, and there's also Kimbaleo, which is for girls who are rescued out of sex trafficking.
Is that a big issue there?
It's a huge issue there. The children there, of course, the poverty is off the charts, and it's nothing to snatch a child. And oftentimes they are abused just incomprehensibly, really, by relatives who are just wrong, just taking advantage. And it's a huge problem. And we've seen phenomenal healing and deliverance for these young women.
Wonderful.
Continually. It's a process. But Hawa, who was a very drastic example, was a young woman who was shut up in a room with a cow, not clothed, unable to walk, because she had been so abused, and her mind just so fractured, and her soul so fractured, where she was, not even able to, not potty trained, and had no idea how old she was. But Kimberly went and found her and talked to the aunt. Or grandmother. It's generally a grandmother that was taking care of so many children, and this grandmother happened to be blind, and they're doing the best they can. But that's just the best they can. That's all they've got. Well, she went and talked to the grandmother and begged for to take this young girl, and of course found other siblings that were moments. And so we were able to get Hawa away from there. And then shortly after that, we were on a team, and we got to go. We had 2 nurses with us on the team that were looking at the babies there, and just noticed their breathing patterns, and said, if we don't get them, they're not going to make it. And now, after a battle and a half, because we have amazing people the Lord has called alongside the vision with Kimberly. The mamas there are unbelievable, just unbelievable. Kimberly tells stories, of sleeping on the top bunk so that Hala couldn't reach her as she would attack her in the night.
Oh,
and Kimberly would just pray over and minister to her and hold her and love her. And it was just, she was not far from an animal.
So traumatized.
Yeah, absolutely. And fast forward through the perseverance and the faithfulness of the Lord and Kimberly and the Kimberly Mamas. Hala knows how to walk. She's potty trained. She dresses herself. She is speaking coherently, primarily, which there was no. I mean, we didn't even know how old she was. And now she's still got a way to go, but the transformation of love, because love never fails.
Yeah.
But love,
so true.
Love looks like something. Is something that Heidi Baker says that we have grabbed a hold of also, and so that's another group of our family there at Mattaw, as well as the widows. We're just not going to miss anybody. We've got a widows ministry. And there's one of our amazing, I guess you could call her headmaster of our school, oversees the widows ministry. And these women are powerful women of God who've lost everything.
Wow.
But they come together and love the Lord and worship Him and thank Him and see supernatural things, all that healing, signs, wonders, miracles. It's not unusual for them. But they're grateful for everything. And they, amongst themselves, actually pull together, and every time they have a meeting, pull together and send things to the children. Of the nothing they have, the widow's mind.
Yeah.
What they have, they pull together and send with us to the children.
Amazing.
They are phenomenal and full of joy and fire and fun. You've not danced and prayed till you've danced and prayed with the widows.
I bet.
And so that there are many different branches of Mattaw, and Mattaw means a planting of the Lord, from Isaiah 61, taking from ashes to beauty, that these children will be oaks of righteousness. And the house parents we have are Kenyan, because we didn't want to make them Americans. We want to make them laid down lovers of Jesus Christ. And Kenyans are phenomenal. We're not trying to change their culture until it's the kingdom culture.
Right.
That supersedes all. And so the house parents have gone through our school of ministry, and the children go through the children's school of ministry, because there's no, the common phrase, there's no junior Holy Spirit. And so everyone is equipped. Everyone is able to minister. And even the children, we've just gone on another leg of another branch of Mattaw and started the children's camp. They went up to Turkana, an internally displaced people group camp, where there was post-election violence in 2000, I think right after 2007, and Kimberly and Bud stayed there through that. They're the real deal. Praise the Lord, it happened right after my family and we left. But they stayed and persevered because it's their place.
So
it's their land.
This, if I'm hearing you right, this started really out of Kimberly being called or feeling called over there, you connecting with her, and then your husband and her now husband, the four of y'all basically prayed and the Lord directed y'all into creating Mattaw?
That's a lot of it. There were a lot of churches that have given different times and different seasons and laid out vision and helped them. They have teams that come over every summer, but there are even individuals in San Angelo that at different times played different roles, and so it's really a conglomeration. I would say there's no boundary to those that have helped Mattaw, but Kimberly and Bud do carry it. They carry the vision. That's the Lord's anointed them for it, and they walk with us at the garden, our church. We're their oversight, but it's relational. It's family. It's we trust each other.
Yeah.
And so if somebody says no, I don't feel like that's the way we should go here, we all listen and heed that. It's
very good.
Yeah, it's there's order. Absolute order, but freedom in the order. And so any church, well, I say any church, after you go through a process of getting to know Kim and Bud, can go over there and pour into the children and the families. There are several, maybe 10 teams a summer that go and serve. And even if you know, who knows what happens when you think you're going on a construction trip and you fall in love and you are captured.
Yeah, that's what apparently happened to Kimberly's husband.
Indeed. He was made for it. He just didn't know it yet.
God had an ulterior motive there.
Absolutely. And now he's even started a safari company to help make Mattaw self-sustainable. And he is always creatively looking for ways to sustain and improve and increase what they're doing there, while at the same time, you know, he's staying faithful to the heavenly vision.
Yeah. What does it cost to run an operation like that?
A lot. It does. It costs a lot. Our primary need at all times is people who will actually commit to sponsoring a child monthly.
What's needed? $35?
$35 covers part of a child for a month. It doesn't cover the whole deal. We break it down into 5 different slots of 35. So it takes about $175 a month per child, but we break it into 35 because that's manageable for people. And that's always our greatest need, because a lot of people want to give one time, which is phenomenal. Give one time.
Yes.
There are 9 zeros in a million.
You counted.
Right. But really to commit to $35 a month, or you can have a double sponsorship, or even a triple. We don't do the full 5 in case somebody breaks off, then the child's not left. The Lord always provides for us. He always takes care. He'll put it in the heart of someone to cover something. Currently, to build a house that will house 12 children and have house parents in it, just to build it and get it going. And we also have our own brick making business, because Bud found that and said, why should we do it this way? And we even allow other people to use that to build theirs, because we're looking to, one of our projects is to build a house for Dorcas, the woman who oversees the widows. Take care of her also. But it's about $17,000 to build a house, but the house can be built almost within a week. A mission trip, a group of people can go and build a house from the ground up, ready to go. They'll have it ready to go. They've got it down. They've got construction, even though it's Kenyan construction, which from our standards is really sketchy. But when it's done, you just, you don't want to climb on one of their ladders. The Mattaw, they have the good ladders, but you see things there and you just shake your head. But it's about $17,000 to build a house, and that can happen quickly. And we'd like to build a house on site. Currently, we have 5 babies, 6 babies. I'm glad they're not going to probably watch this in case I leave a little guy out. But we'd like to build a house, a family-style house to move our children into. We're paying rent on a home for the Kimbaleo girls. We'd like to move them on site. And we'd also like to build, just small improvements. Also like sidewalks, so it's not so muddy everywhere. Tiling bathrooms, anything anybody can give.
What does it cost to furnish the home? Does I'm guessing the 17 is the brick and mortar to put the house together.
Yes, they've really got that down too. So it's not, I don't want to give an exact number because I don't know the exact number. But they do it as efficiently. It's been said that we do it excellence without opulence, because we don't want these children there. They are removed from poverty. And so when we do things well. Part of a sponsorship is to put back funds for them when they graduate from high school. Oh, by the way, we also have a high school. We have a school on site, and we use homeschool style curriculum, because some of these children come in and have never been to school. And so school books, that's another.
Is it American
expense.
school books?
It is.
Okay,
it
all
is.
right.
Because we want them to have excellence. And not that Kenya does not have an excellent school system, it's just not reached the point of refinement that what we can get from the United
homeschooling
States. And so they are in a school environment with a teacher, but it's self-paced. because some of these children come in and they're 13, but they've never been to school, so they don't know their alphabet.
Is there a language issue?
Not generally. No, Bud and Kimberly and Claire and Elisha and Ezra speak Swahili fluently.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, in their 2-year-old, Ezra speaks more Swahili than he does English, which is wonderful. He speaks English, preferably Swahili though.
Yeah.
And so they also learn English in the school, and so we can communicate.
So English is a second language.
It is.
For Kimberly's kiddos.
Yeah, it is. It truly is.
Yeah. Okay, so if someone listening is feeling that little tug in their heart and would like more information, where should they go?
They should go to their website, mattawchildren.com,
Okay.
or the blog, Huffman's in Kenya blogspot, or look on Facebook and find Mattaw Children, or you can find me, Lauren Caldwell, and I also coordinate, my husband and I also coordinate long-term volunteers, and we can help you get in touch with anybody, anything you want to do to go over there for a short-term trip, but the requirements are a little bit higher for a long-term.
When you say long-term, what length of time are you talking about?
Well, generally at least 3 months.
Okay.
To go spend a summer over there. We've had several go, and that's also relational. But that's why people come to us first. If they've gone to Mattaw and they think, wow, we really want to do this long term, they visit with my husband and I, our family, and they just do life with us for a couple of days just to make sure we're on the same vision, the same heart. And so that they're also prepared, because there's nothing worse than sending someone over there unprepared. They will come back spiritually, physically, and emotionally broken.
Yeah.
So we'd like to catch it on the front end. If you're going to be there long term, we want to know you so that we can support you well from this side.
Yeah. The living conditions, you were saying a lot of mud. Describe the living conditions.
Sure. Katali is fantastic. The weather there it's mountainous, it's a high elevation, it's a beautiful place. There's a rainy season they call monsoon season, where you just better have cute rain boots, because that's what you wear every day for a few months. And then they have the dry season. And Katali is also situated in northern Kenya. It's north of Nairobi. And so it's what's been called the bread basket. I mean, you can stick a stick in the ground and something grows there. But it also shows the spiritual poverty, that here you have this amazing fertile land, and there are people that are starving and no jobs, and it's just a lot of corruption.
Corruption, is there a lot of violence in the area?
Yes. As a matter of fact, part of our team was coming home from Turkana, which is the northernmost region that is what you imagine Africa as. Sand, desert, spears, camels. That's where we just did the
Tarzan.
Yes. That's where we just did the outreach, and where the Mattaw children and the house parents were ministering.
Oh, that's cool.
To the other Kenyans.
Yeah.
And so, we had a team coming back in one of the Mattaw vehicles, and it was pulled over by a bandit. And fortunately, our driver was able to skedaddle through that, and we just thank the Lord for His protection. So yes, Katali is generally safe, but there's always a land war going on between a certain people, the Pakot people and the Turkana people. And so Katali is a little bit south of that, but as we travel up to the outreach, it can be dangerous. But there's also just mob mentality that comes with that spirit of poverty in Katali, where justice is oftentimes in the hands of the crowd around that sees whatever happens. And favor for Kimberly and Bud, they actually have good relationship with the police department there, because they've had integrity and not paid bribes. And they've just done right. And Bud knows when to stand up, and also knows when to be silent. And the Lord's really kept them through a lot of hairy situations.
Ooh, I can only imagine. So what's their full name? So if the Lord puts on someone's heart to just pray specifically for Kimberly and Bud, what's the full name?
Kimberly and Bud Huffman.
Huffman.
And they are both of them had coaches for Dad, so they understood what it was like to move around a little bit, but they are West Texas kids.
Okay.
I say kids are both 30, 31, but yeah, they are. Kids at heart for certain.
Yeah.
They've never, even in the day-to-day running of a growing ministry, they still stop and play with the babies and play soccer. Their first and foremost love is those babies.
Yeah. Do they travel back to the States very often?
Yes, not as often as we'd like. They've been over there actually right now for more than a year without coming home, and I was really glad to get to go visit them because they are family. So they have to raise the funds, and as kiddos keep adding, because they also have Kenyan sons that aren't able to come with them back to the United States just because of visa issues, but they actually have a Kenyan son who is here in the United States going to university. Caleb is a rock star. I love him, and I love it when he gets to come to our house for certain things. And Kim and Bud's parents are grandparents to him as well. They also have Ian, Daniel, and Joseph that are their children. They were taken off the streets. They were street boys that had come down from the Turkana region and hadn't quite started sniffing glue yet, which is a big problem because they have to ease the pain of the hunger and loss and every other bit of trauma. And so Kimberly and Bud were able to snatch those two little guys from, and I say little, they're both huge now, getting to be grown men. And then Joseph was actually the brother to Ian that lived in Turkana, and he moved from Turkana, where he was just herding goats all his life, to come down to get an education. But we still go visit. Actually, we've shown the Jesus video on the side of a Land Cruiser at Ian's family at their house, and it was really funny. They invited us to come back as we sat there, and they said, "You've got to come back to this church you've started."
Wow.
And said, wow. That's not generally how it's portrayed, but we'll take that.
That's a good invitation.
That was in their heart.
Yeah. When Kimberly and Bud come home, do they speak at different churches?
Yes, they do.
How would they know when they're here and where they might be if somebody wanted to visit with them?
Oh, just email them directly.
Okay.
Or they can get in touch with me.
Okay.
We're easily gotten hold of thanks to technology.
Oh yeah, technology's great.
We text early in the morning while they're awake, and they go to sleep, and then we text late at night. We just keep in constant contact, so they're very easy to get in touch with.
Okay. Any final thoughts that you want to share?
I think Mattaw is a phenomenal place to go if you've got the heart for Africa. Even if it's not where you're called to be long term, find a way to get there. It's a safe place. Mattaw itself is safe. Getting there, we've got it down, we've got it figured out. I mean, there are always dangers inherent in traveling, but Mattaw is a phenomenal place to go and see what the Lord's doing and to broaden your horizons to what's really going on in the rest of the world. And you will be so grateful for what you have here. And we'll debrief you when you get home, hopefully, so you're not bitter thinking all of North America is spoiled, even though we are quite a bit. But it's a great place also to get out of the box of Western Christianity and go be open to what the Lord wants to do in your heart there. And they are excellent people that you will learn from, and they're humble people that will learn from you. And so I can't recommend enough getting in touch with them, follow them. Even if you just read their blog and pray for them, you can connect your heart in that way. But it will open your heart to the Lord's heart, and you will get to see it expressed where it really looks like something.
Give those addresses one more time, the website, the blog, etc.
Yeah, there's mattawchildren.com, and then there's Huffman's in Kenya at Blogspot, and then, of course, on Facebook, Mattaw Children. Or you can personally friend any of us. We're available that way too.
Wonderful. Lauren, thank you so much for sharing this. I've got a feeling there'll be some listeners out there that may have a great interest in this.
Yes,
I appreciate it.
Thank you
you.
for the opportunity.